Yeah, 100 Thieves got Cryo. Fuck. That's a hit or miss in my opinion.
So when XSET didn't make Valorant Franchising, and G2's plans to buy out the roster fell through,
I just got fucked over by the top G.
Everyone was wondering what would happen to their world-class lineup, but especially their young superstars Zekin and Cryo.
Blue team and on the flash finds way too many targets to deal with. Jerka not able to land the shot either.
Time ticking.
Has to back up. Goes to a 1v1. Cryo, Enzo!
And while everyone was talking about where the Optic members would go, 100 Thieves made a massive pickup in Cryo. And despite him being an amazing player, it is kind of hard to tell exactly how much of an improvement he'll make to 100 Thieves. So let's try to answer those questions today. How much of an upgrade was Cryo for 100 Thieves? How did Will's role differ from Cryo's role in XSET? And where can Cryo actually help 100 Thieves improve their game? Let's just briefly talk about Agent Pool before we get into their gameplay. So Will plays Raze on Bind and Pearl, Jet on Breeze, and Chamber on all other maps, while Cryo plays Jet on Ascent and Breeze, but Chamber on all other maps. Now this is just something to keep in mind because Cryo doesn't really play Raze, and matching up different agents and different maps will affect your playstyle, obviously. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about the next couple sections. So let's talk about how both players play defense. So when they're on duelists, both players play pretty similar. Pretty standard duelist play on defense. They fight for neutral areas with support from their team. One unique thing I noticed from Will is that he actually likes to fight grouped up with Bang, who's their controller player. But often is also with another playmaker initiator like KO or Breach or something like that. Cryo is often seen grouping with Def specifically, and he's playing an initiator like KO, and they fight together for neutral areas or just set up Cryo for a good duel. This is pretty standard strategy for duelists on defense. They just take these neutral areas aggressively, and then they can transition into good, quick rotations or flanks. Now, the differences start to become more obvious when both players are playing Chamber on defense. Will was a lot more honest with his Chamber play on 100 Thieves. He tends to hold passively or for info when he's by himself, but still goes for aggressive spots when he's set up explicitly by his team.
They put the wall up again. Same.
See it last time.
Yeah. Same play from a couple rounds ago. You're absolute Redbull. Fnatic haven't seen this, so they don't know about the antics. Oh, well, they shouldn't.
I know this isn't going to be a big prop.
It might be. He lands a shot and he gets away.
He tends to opt for team plays over better individual timings.
On retakes. Haven't seen much of it. And already this is going to be a much better start to the map for the guard.
Cryo, on the other hand, goes for round-defining plays by himself.
From the Chamber players, biding their time, waiting it out. The Spike is starting to make movement now. It looks like they want to go for this B split. Viper Wall's going to be sent straight up. 3 players now working away around, and Cryo, while just playing right with it.
Early with a bit of a Season 8 combo in mid-window. That doesn't find too much, and Victor's just looking around as he takes a bullet between the...
On it, but the big win condition would be Agent fixing some of those issues from the previous series, that previous appearance on Ascent.
Yeah.
Presence shown outside B main. Cryo now feels a little bit of freedom to get ahead of this.
How much do they expect this?
Ooh, a leg shot. A little bit of leg goes a long way, so Cryo's going to respect that enough. On the other side.
Now, keep in mind these are just some tendencies that I've noticed from the roles, in recent matches especially. And it doesn't mean that Will always plays passively, and Cryo never does. Their playstyles are defined by the team's playstyle as much as their own, so just keep that in mind. So now let's take a look at how each player plays offense. So Will's Jet is primarily used as a space creator in many immediate executes. He's usually running it down as fast as possible with utility and as deep as possible to make space. And this often ends up in a super volatile fight for him, where he either has no chance or a bunch of free kills. And as a result, Will rarely makes it to the post plant, and if he does, it usually means the round was already over.
Thieves now have so much of an advantage to play with. Oh, Stacks needs to be good on this one, but he's getting closed in on. Actually, Will gets denied this time. Stacks.
Cryo on Jet, however, is used a little more methodically and given more fair opportunities where he gets less volatile fights and more skill-based aim duels, which can be used to open up the round.
To show presence outside A. Nada's actually tucked up.
This angle's not
Clear, but it gets cleared. Cryo heads up play
here once.
Shows presence with the operator early on. Flash in, actually beautiful catch on to Sugetsu.
Now it gets really interesting when both players are on Chamber. Will actually plays out many offensive rounds, completely grouped up with his team, even though he's playing Chamber, which is not something you'd expect.
Face your fear!
It's Nightfall. It's their follow-up. Leave it only hit one.
Well, retake here.
Oh, yeah? Yep.
Many full executes have him running through to the site with everyone else, and it's clear why. Will has really good trade timings and contributes greatly to those initial takes. He fights with his team very effectively.
Win, and he's been flash. Now the satchel causes so many problems, but they still get through. Will has one of his own.
All up to Boaster.
Boaster and Durka's gonna show up late. But if they delay long enough, Durka should get here in time. And that's exactly what's happening. They've cut noise, perhaps they think that they're gonna get away. Will diffs Durka there. Boaster, 1v3 to keep it up, to keep the series alive. Can Boaster find it? What heroics does he have? A haunt there, and he's been surrounded. Believe.
Cryo, on the other hand, is a world-class lurker on offense. XSET often left him by himself to work the weak side of the map, and his lurk timings close the door on huge rounds.
They're just walking next to each other.
Yeah, walking right next to each other. Cryo, patience. Just holding down the one angle now. Backs away, but XSET with a better weaponry. Seem like they are going to be winning this one out pretty handedly. Victor, at some point in this round, managed to get his ultimate, but a quick spray down. Position is...
It's just wonderful right now. Cryo versus Victor over on A-Long.
He's contact pushing this right into the angle. I mean, Cryo's just holding it with the tour de force.
Strange way for Victor to play that rather than tucking himself into the corner.
This backside is lost. This B is lost.
They've got the flank. Oh, Cryo with the flank!
Oh, the timing!
No!
Oh, and it's devastating.
Will had some of these opportunities, but honestly didn't seem too comfortable playing them out.
Smart from Valen actually to try and feign they would be pushing past this one, but Thieves have already got the players in position.
The few times he is on the weak side, he tends to play a more passive style just to hold the space rather than to take it by himself. And then his team rotates back to take the site that Will was holding.
Utility here has gotten very deep down A-Long.
So deep.
He's going to be a pivot player late in the round if this C hit doesn't work. Dona P has an opportunity for impact, but misses the first.
Got to hit these shots, man. Astra has been dealt with, though. There's a re-clear down into A-Long. Paranoia into the back. So they're still there. Surely you don't disrespect this one. He's still, but he waits and he leaves it to the final moment, Trent! What a spray down! The reposition!
So where can Cryo actually contribute to 100 Thieves? If you simply slot Cryo into the exact same role as Will, it'll make little to no difference. Will was an elite aimer and honestly an ideal team player in a sense. Both players have different strengths. Cryo can improve 100 Thieves' game by providing an amazing weak side player on both offense and defense. On defense, Cryo is self-sufficient on the weak side, and he allows more resources to be put into other parts of the map. This can look somewhat similar to Will's role, but he should be given the green light to look for opportunities alone.
Trailblazer out, he's going to swing with it!
Skinny lands a shot through the smoke!
100 Thieves won many rounds with full executes. Although their take was really strong, you can see many rounds where they start to run out of options if they find a setup they're not familiar with, which certainly will happen against teams you don't play often on the international level. Cryo can work the weak side of the map for round-winning lurks, or a secondary option if there was a botched site take. Although they'll lose the strength of a great trader and teamfighter like Will, if they can maintain some of their site execution pressure, this will make Cryo's timings even more deadly. So let's actually answer the question, was Cryo an upgrade for 100 Thieves? And the answer is that Cryo does have significant potential to make 100 Thieves a way better team, but it's still up to whether or not 100 Thieves can adjust to give Cryo what he needs to succeed. Will was obviously an amazing team-oriented player and contributed greatly to 100 Thieves' success. But Cryo seems a little bit more self-sufficient and has the skill set to be the difference maker for 100 Thieves in some key rounds. He's a methodical aimer and was actually the clutcher on an XSET. And I want to conclude with these two incredible stats from Champions. He had one of the highest clutch rates out of all players at Champions at 19%, and he played that out over 42 clutch attempts, which was the most of all XSET players by far. And he did this while being top 10 in first kills, both first kill percentage and total first kills out of all players at Champions. I honestly don't really think stats are that important, but those stats should kind of speak for themselves. 100 Thieves need to give Cryo time, space, and the freedom to work the map. And this will not only help them with their ability to open up rounds, but also allow Cryo to close out huge rounds that make the difference in close matches, especially at the international level. Cryo's chamber style actually resembles El Diablo's quite a bit. Check out this next video to find out why Ye's chamber is head and shoulders above the rest.